Hey friends! I thought you might like a quick tour of the plant nursery in the garden. Y'all have seen it in many different phases, and this probably isn't the last iteration because we just keep learning and learning and changing and changing. And so I'll just do this quickly. My fingers are turning into ice blocks. So we don't have as many tables here in the plant nursery as you probably remember, and that's because we're doing a lot less with pots. We're really observing a lot of what's happening in the roots in pots, and we're not happy about what we're seeing, and we're researching it, and there's all kinds of studies that have been done, and pots are challenging for plants in a huge way. And when you think about growing some of the woodies and whatnot that we're interested in growing, and I don't know, maybe even the herbaceous plants, you realize you could be setting them back for life. And that's not really what we want to do. So we're trying some different things, which we've talked to you about before, which some of them are air prune beds. So let's go in here. This used to be a high tunnel in our garden, and we got rid of it because many reasons. High tunnels can be super great, and we have some low tunnels I'll show you in a minute, but they can be great for extending the season and whatnot. But it just didn't work well where we had it. It's a major insect trap, and I'm not cool with that. Steve's not cool with that. You know, we're not trying to grow things to then also have life come in and just get trapped and die. So, and the plastic has a lifespan. We're just learning. I'm not criticizing because I think we're all just learning, and we obviously need to be able to grow food, and in places of the world like ours, you need some kind of season extension. But maybe some of that is also utilizing more native foods and maybe other techniques that I don't have any clue about yet. So in here we have one of our air prune beds that Steve made, and we do have a bench in here for some pots. So probably if we do some pots, it will be on herbaceous plants, maybe slow growing rooted ones. We'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. And then this is our fertigation system that connects over to our rain harvesting system. Those are 4 IBC totes, and Steve's done a video on that, and y'all like that. That's got like over 10,000 views, which is cool, because it is a really useful system. So we don't have it hooked up at this time of year because we're freezing. But we have some ideas for the future that maybe could keep this operational longer, because something else I'll show you here in a minute. We'll show you how we actually need some water over here in the winter. So the pump and everything that's normally here is picked up. The tanks are emptied, and the fertigation tanks are empty. We don't have anything in here yet because this is a totally new move. This bed was outside, but we're working on growing better pawpaws, and pawpaws definitely do better in the shade when they're young. So we don't want to grow them out here in these air prune beds, which are being redone, which I showed you in an earlier video. So we're putting in some better supports down here, which is our tabletops, repurposing always, woo-woo. And we've got organic mechanics in here. We need some more. You'll see that's our media. I'm not sure yet exactly what we're going to do this fall or this spring. No, not fall. We can't go back to fall. We just got to the winter solstice. This is our lean-to greenhouse, and you can see this thing is rocking it. It's doing great. I got the greens in way too late this year, so they're pretty small, but there's chard in there, and arugula, and cilantro, and kale, and collards, and there is even a fig doing well so far. So we'll find out. We're going to have our coldest temperatures of the winter so far, Christmas Eve, Christmas, the next day, and so that's going to be teens. But this is where we could use water in the winter, because I have to haul water over from our well spigot at the house, And it would be nice to have rainwater over here to water now and again. It doesn't need it like in the summer, of course, because it is, look at, it is the gray lands. So today is above freezing, and tomorrow is going to be almost 48. But these are our low tunnels. So we've just taken to using these. Steve built these ages ago. We just keep reusing them over and over and over. It's a cattle panel built over a wooden frame, or shaped over a wooden frame. And we put them over this. So these are just greens we put in last spring. And they're still alive and doing great. Dinosaur kale and Mizuno and what else do we have here? There was something else. Oh yeah, that which I can't remember the name of. Lots of greens. Collards out here, those things are tough and so good. So this is the part of the garden that is still here. Remember, you all, it used to be this whole area. Why? Because we are insane. No, because we like to grow things and we like to grow food, but you also have to balance your labor, which I've talked about many times. And so we're working on native foods, and we're working on growing in a much tighter space and really utilizing our energy better, because we can't do everything. And yeah, being 42 has helped me realize that. And Steve would say, hey, I'm 53, you don't know anything, little girl. No, I'm kidding. That's kind of weird. So this area has been one of our most challenging areas because it has yellow nutsedge in here, which is a native, and it just means this is a really wet spot. This was clearly a drainage that went through to these forests, and it's all drained now by this ditch, but there was still obviously all these little rivulets and probably wetlands. And so we have hazelnut in here now, and plum, 2 kinds of plum, and elderberry, and it's really densely packed. And we're going to just see how these native woodies can do. These mounds are hugelkultur mounds that Steve built, and since this is so wet, it may help some of these species, it may not, we don't know, we're just experimenting. And then all the rest of the old garden is many different shades of tan and brown right now, and gray, but it is host to so much life. I love that it is turning into what it is. I love it so much. The jays are really talking, aren't they? My goodness, there's something going on. So that's what we got going on, friends. Our compost pile back there, we have wood ash that goes in there, so we are always real careful now about where to use that. And the trees are coming in. It's really beautiful. You get to appreciate the understated in winter, don't you? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 garden beds. And then the paths, I am slowly cardboarding and strawing. We tried growing in them because they get so wet and sloppy, and we've struggled with that a bit. So since there's not many paths anymore, I can keep up with the mulching every couple years. So that's it for the end of 2020 in the garden and the nursery, and it looks super different. And there's tons of room for expansion, but we're going to really work out our systems before we expand a lot. So we want to be able to grow really good plants, and that means the roots, clearly. So we're going to keep playing with it. Mother Nature's, she's got it. I mean, she has got it going on. Those squirrels, I don't know how they do it. I really have a lot to learn. Steve and I talk about it all the time. We have not been able to grow anything that looks like what grows in nature yet. So we'll see if we can figure it out. We always like a really good challenge. And look at that earth banner. Don't you love it? Oh, I love it. That's our message to the world, okay, y'all? That's our political banner. You got it?